Good morning and welcome to another great edition of Money Truth Moments with our very own financial expert, our very own Judy Kopenbarger. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am having the best day already. How are you doing, Carlos?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful sunny day. I can tell by your background, it's just a gorgeous day to get started. And I'm very excited about today, not only because it's Tuesday, not only because it's Money Truth Moments, but we're going to be focusing in on a question that one of our viewers brought up last week regarding investments. So today's topic is going to be basically new to investments. So we're going to talk about it. And I
Great.
think it's great that Judy and I talked a little bit about it before the show, how she's just going to break it down from when you were crawling to where you're ready to retire. So we're gonna run the gamut on this. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you share this out with folks. Pen and paper, as Judy always says, right? And take some great notes because we're gonna have a great show. What do you say we get started, Judy?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So let's focus in. We're gonna do this by age group, right? So let's focus in. Let's start with the young children, right? Let's start with investments. Let's look at maybe the age group between maybe 5 and 12 year olds.
Oh, little guys.
The little guys, right? And most of the questions, like, right, that they ask is, what's money? Where does money come from? And, we have the old saying, money doesn't grow on trees, but a lot of us wish they would. So why don't we start with that? What is money and where does it come from?
Yeah, money is a way that we do life, right? So, it was easier when our kids were little because we used money. We had green money in our wallet and we had quarters, in our um, dashboard. What do you call the thing? The little where you put your cup holder in the car,
Yeah.
console, whatever. Yeah, we always had money around. If you went to the laundromat, you had quarters that you put in the machine. Now everything is just like money flies out of the wall at the bank,
Mhm.
and it's all like digitized. And I'll tell you, if you have young people in your life, they don't see money move anymore tangibly. So you got to talk about what you're doing. You go to the grocery store, you talk about we could buy 1 can of these kind of beans or 2 cans of these kind of beans or soup or whatever, right? And so you talk about the value of money because it's kind of this invisible concept. We assume they get it. They don't. How would they, right? So you got to talk to them about money. Money is a way that we do life. We have to have money to keep the lights on. We have to have money to have the water come out of the faucet when we go to take a bath, right? We have to have money to take a trip, go to Chuck E. Cheese, all of that. And then the question is, well, where does money come from? How does it come from? Well, when I put on my fancy shoes and I go away while you're at school, and then I come back and I take off my fancy shoes. When I'm away, I'm doing something to make money. Well, I guess anymore people work at home. So they're going to have to figure out how to explain that. But yeah, because you have a home office too, right? I think a lot of
Yeah.
people do now. Yeah. And so it's a little bit different, but it's like I'm helping people, I'm providing value. And for my value, they give me money, either because of the time that I spend or the services that I'm providing. Now, it might be a little more tangible if you do something like you go to the store and you pay money for the groceries at the store. They're giving you the groceries. It's tangible. Set up a lemonade stand for these little guys. Let them see they have to spend money to make the lemonade. They put $5 into their cost of goods sold, $5 into their inventory. And then they sell lemonade all day and they have $10 and then they made the difference. Things like that might help. But it's not as easy as it used to be because we don't have cash at the grocery store anymore. We don't use cash. When we first got married, we would take cash down to pay our utilities and phone bill. Isn't that crazy? That's
I
how the
remember
world
those days.
changed.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So with little ones, I think you just need to talk through what you're doing so they can actually observe and learn from you with where money comes from and how it moves.
I've also heard you talk about my next question on here. So give us a breakdown of explaining to a youngster what's the difference between saving and spending. And I know you've given great examples before, so maybe just as a great reminder, kind of go through that for us, please.
Yeah, this is just kind of a basic planning question. Money for now, money for later. And, these littles, they don't really have the concept of time yet. It's like right now. And, sometimes I remember talking to the little ones about, how long before grandma comes, how long before we go to Disneyland, things like that. 4 more sleeps. They can measure, I go to sleep and I wake up, they can measure that's a day. But if you say 3 days, they're like,
Great.
what's a day, right? Four
Right.
more sleeps. Okay, so that'll be Friday, not if it's Monday right now, right? So you got to find ways in their language that they can kind of wrap their head around, and money's the same way. So when you talk about saving and spending, it's money that we need today to buy the ingredients for Taco Tuesday, or it's what we're going to need Friday when we go out to the movie or go to pizza or go to the park, and we, have a snack at the park or something. So money for now and money for later. Spending is money we need right now. Saving is money we're going to need for later, right? Because we might not go get money on Friday, but we're already going to have the money that we saved to use on Friday. So you can kind of talk through concepts like that. It's really funny. You have to get into their mental map, the way they
Right.
see the world and what the words that they know. And I'll tell you, I messed up so much we have 5 kids, right? So I messed up so much using words I thought they knew. Sometimes it's really funny. Other times it really kind of scars them. But I remember one time with our middle one, our second son, he was probably 5 years old or so. And we live here in Orange County. So the Angels games were the big deal, right? Little League, they go to the Angels games, they march around the field and do the whole thing. So he got to go to the Angels game one time. And this one I didn't go. His dad went with him. So they were the Angels game and he was ready. He had seen the movie Angels in the Outfield. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. So he went there and did the whole thing. And he got more and more sad, more and more angry, more and more sad, more and more angry as the game went on. And he came home with his lip out and his arms crossed, and he had been totally, like, royally ripped off. What's the matter, Nicholas? What happened? Didn't you like the game? No. Well, you went and saw the Angels play, right? You went to the big stadium and the big screen and all the people and the popcorn and all that. No, no Angels came. He was so ripped off because he was going to watch the Angels play. He'd seen the movie where
Right.
the Angels swooped down.
Yeah.
That never happened. He wanted that. And all he said, they were just a bunch of guys playing baseball. So anyway, so in his mental map, he knew what it was.
That's awesome, though.
And speaking of money, I remember our twins, they were little. They were like just going to the bank, maybe 4 or 5 years old with their first little bank account. And we took their money there. Well, they took their money there. I drove them. And I told them, we're going to go there so your money can grow. Oh, they'd seen things grow. They'd planted seeds, right? And remember those little sponges and beach towels you get? They're really tiny. You put water on them and then they just kind of grow and grow and grow. So they knew what grow was. And when they gave the money to the lady, she took it away and put it in the drawer. Nothing grew. They were so ripped off. They were really mad at me that I gave the money away. So anyway, in terms, okay, we're going to go to the bank. We're going to give the money to the lady. When we go back later, she's going to give us more back, right? After many, many sleeps. So that's what I should have done. But, we all mess up. Sometimes it's entertaining. Other times, it can really kind of mess you up. So, yeah.
That's some great stories for sure. I mean, things that you don't really think about, but if you're just joining us, please make sure that you share this out with parents that you guys know, because we're really going to cover everything from the littles to adults getting ready to retire as well too. So, welcome to the show. For those of you just joining us, please make sure you watch the beginning of the show because we're discussing what is money for the littles, right? So let's move on. So for the little guys, right? How can they earn more money, right? Aside from chores like pick up your clothes, put it in the in a hamper or whatever. What can you say to parents to just kind of ignite that? Okay, these are other little ways for them to start learning how to do that, how to earn money.
Yeah, provide value, right? So little kids, they can paint rocks and their paperweights. They can create little greeting cards, with their little art skills and craft skills, create greeting cards, sell those. Here we have chickens, and so it's easy. We have eggs, littles can sell eggs here. When our children were small, we kept bees. And so you always had, everybody wants honey. Everybody loves the local honey. It's really good for you. And it's amazing. All the products from the hive. And so they'd be out there with a table, as the cars went by selling, fresh honey, local honey. So there's always a way to provide value. You can get your, if they're big enough, we're talking about 5 to 12, maybe they're not big enough yet to operate a lawnmower. Maybe they are, but, to do some chores, offer it to the neighbors that you will do some chores, pick some weeds or help with the gardening or move rocks or whatever, outside, sweep their porch. If you live where it's really cold, little kids are great with all that energy they have at getting rid of the
Mhm.
snow, right? And cleaning off the sidewalks and cleaning off the roofs. And there's plenty to do in snow country. So you can always do that. But for them, it's you're providing a service or you're providing a product. And for that, people will see value and give you money. That's the whole thing, this exchange, right, of earning money. So lots of ways kids can do it. Whatever they love to do, it's easy to turn it into a business. And they're adorable. At this age, everybody's going to say, yes, I'll buy that from you. You could
Yep,
sell little
exactly.
keychains door to door and people would buy them. So, and then show them how to manage the money once they have it. It's not like I earned all this money. I worked 3 days door to door, selling all my crafts and my wares, and then you go blow it on something. Right? You just show them part of the money is for now, part of the money is for later, and start
Right.
that whole process of saving, which will in turn become investing in the later years.
It's funny, but to me, little kids are probably the best salespeople
Mhm.
because one, like you say, you can't say no. And if you do kind of say no, you have that guilt trip that will haunt you for the rest of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's easy to sell when you're a kid.
Yeah,
You're looking at, "You
exactly.
wanna buy one of these? Okay."
In that case, right? Like that heartbroken when you say no, it's like, okay, wait, let me change my mind.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
change it with that.
yeah.
Okay, so I can't wait to hear another story about your kids. But I want to talk to you about how did you handle like explaining what is a piggy bank, and how did you explain like how does a piggy bank help you grow money?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, getting Mr. Money to work. So, when you're little, it might not be about, the stock market and real estate and things like that. It might be, if you're a family that does that, they will learn that, which is a wonderful gift. But it might just be about saving until you get enough to do something with it, investment wise. So when you talk about a piggy bank in the old days, it was a big fat, you've seen and pictures of them all the time. I haven't seen very many real ones anymore because again, there's that tangible money we don't really do. But I think we should bring it back, especially for
Yeah,
littles as they're learning. The big pig, had a big body, so you could put a lot of coins in there. But when you talk about what a piggy bank is, and little kids, remember, they haven't seen it. It's like they haven't seen a phone booth, right? You
right.
talk about a
Yeah.
phone booth, they're like, what do you mean? A booth? What's a booth? Phone? So things like that. They don't have a frame of reference for some of these words that we grew up with and using. So you talk about a piggy bank, that's money that you save for later after many sleeps, right? That's for something we're going to do special down the road. And then how it can help you grow your money. It really doesn't help you grow your money at that point, but I would say once they have $100 or a couple $100 saved in their piggy or their box or wherever it is, take them down to the bank and let them open an account. As soon as they're big enough to write the letters in their name, I think they should go to the bank, talk to the banker. It's really good personal skills anyway, right? Social skills, and open an account. Then when the statement comes, it's got their name on it. Oh, that's my money that I'm saving for later, many sleeps later, right? And they start to own it and they start to have some confidence around their own money, not your money, but their money. And I think it really helps for them to have some of that money in their piggy that comes from earning chores, whether it's an allowance or they earned it or they sold something or whatever it was. Maybe they won a prize. I've got friends that race horses and they get money. When they win a race, they save up and they buy saddles, and it's amazing. So whatever it is that you do, getting that money in the bank that they earned or they created somehow will give them that ownership. And then when they go to make a purchase, you go to the bank, you pull the money out. Cash is good, right? So they get to see it and feel it and touch it and see that they have it, and then spend the money and see that they don't have it. I think that's an important concept because just a number on a page, a number on a statement doesn't have a lot of value for them. But when they see they have all this money and then they don't, that's important. Or that they
Mhm.
didn't have any money and now they do, and they put it in their box or their jar or whatever, wherever they keep their money. That's just really valuable for these little ones. So the piggy doesn't necessarily help you grow your money. I think that was your question, but it helps
Right.
you have the money that you can use later to grow. And that's probably a concept for double digits, at least 10, 12, 15. They can start to get the concept of now Mr. Money's doing the work that I was doing before. I didn't have to go sell keychains door to door. Mr. Money actually made money. I had a statement, it was $100. Now it's $104. So my money has increased, maybe not grown. Don't use that word. My money has increased. There's more than there was before. We're so
Nice.
excited. So those are the things that you can do with these guys, while they're in grade school, for sure.
Okay, so we're pretty close to the end of our show, folks, and you know what that usually means. Today, what is our money truth challenge? Because this should be very interesting, especially for parents who are just listening, or aunts, uncles, grandparents. This is your challenge for you, right?
Oh my goodness. Anybody that has littles in your life, it might be grandkids, neighbors' kids, maybe your teacher, whatever it is, the concept of allocating money as it comes in. So once they get a birthday check from grandma, once they get, a $20 bill or a $10 bill from auntie, right, for Christmas or Easter or whatever, or if they sold something, they earn the money. The money comes in. Your challenge is to help them allocate it into 3 parts. So these little guys, they can have money that is for me, money that is for somebody else, and money that is for later, right? So it's now, later, and money for giving away. So let's say they earn $9, to make the math easy. $3 immediately goes into whatever I want to use, fun money, anything I want, anytime. $3 needs to leave the house. So you do something nice for mom. You do something nice for little sister, buy them a toy, right? And just get them in the mindset of, it's not all about me, right? And some kids need that. Other kids, they need to spend the money on themselves because it's all about everybody else. It's really interesting to watch how different they are. So $3 is for anything I want. $3 is for somebody else. And I can't buy my little baby sister a yo-yo because we know who it's really for, right? So really outside of your own world, giving it to someone else, maybe it's, putting it in the offering box at church. Or maybe it's helping put toys into one of those boxes you send overseas at Christmas, the Operation Christmas box things. There's so many things that kids can do, but help them use money for something else. And the third part is money that never happened. It's long-term money for many, many sleeps later, for when they get older, when they start investing. So part of the money for now, part of the money for later, part of the money for somebody else. That's how you allocate it. Find some littles in your life as a challenge. Find some littles in your life and teach them that. Maybe get them 3 little boxes and label them, right? Money to spend, money to save, money to give. You can do that. That's your challenge.
That's a great challenge. And I'm hoping that folks, you guys that are listening and watching this as well, take up this challenge and let us know how that works out, because we would love to hear just what kind of feedback you get from the littles, right? Like the questions that they may come up with. This stuff that we just kind of briefly touch on a lot of things. But man, I remember, and I'm sure you can remember this, it's just growing up with this concept was just foreign to a lot of us,
Yeah.
which is great. And I'm glad you're breaking it down this way too. So folks, again, thank you for joining us today. Make sure that you're following Judy at judykopenbarger.today. All of our social media is on there, so make sure you connect with her. We are here every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. and replays on Thursdays at 8 p.m. So make sure you tune in, share it out. Judy, any last parting words?
Yeah, it might be worth a reflection for you as you're having this amazing week with great weather. I think most of the country has great weather right now. But how do you spend your money? How do you save your money? How do you give your money? Great reflection. Make it a great week, guys. We'll see you next time.
Awesome. And also, just as a teaser, remember, we're continuing this. So next week, make sure you tune in. Again, let your parents know, and those folks also who are interested in learning about new to investments. But we're going to cover teenagers next week. So you don't want to miss the show. Until next week, take care, Judy.
Bye-bye.